Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Let me welcome you to Zone African Motives, whereby I want us to look at life orientation, grade 11, term 1, revision. Term 1, revision. So this is in relation to grade 11. So that is that. So we are going to prepare ourselves with a common task which was written in 2025. That is a source-based task. So that is that. It was written in Amajuba district. That is a province of KwaZulu-Natal. So let us move on. As you can see that the awarded marks for this paper is 90 marks. So that is that. So let us move on to instructions and informations. We are on our instructions and informations, good people. They read as follows. Read all questions carefully, very important. Make sure that you read all questions carefully before you can attend to them. Answer all the questions. You answer all the questions. Number answers correctly according to the numbering system used in this question paper. Write neatly and legible. So the task must be completed under the supervision of teachers during the class time. So that's that. But as you remember, I have said you're going to use this task as to prepare for our term 1, a test that you're going to write on life orientation grade 11. Learners are allowed to use textbooks and other resources to complete the task. So that is that. But as we are just going to answer it straight. So this is the learner's coverage page, task 1, source-based task. So you can see, you can go through it on your own. So here we are on a activity that is given. Here it's activity that is given, which is going to help us when we write our term 1 test. So the activity read as follows. Read the extract below and answer the questions that follow. So that is that. So now we are to go through this. We have NSC rating, NASC rating percentage, and points for the APS and percentage for APS. That is admission points score. That is admission points score. So we can go through this as we go. As we can see that we have level 1 up to level 7. So as you can see, these are the percentage for each level. And these are the points for a admission point score. And then these are the percentage for admission point score, as you can see. So now, let's attend to the questions that are asked now. The first question, good people, says, state 3 reasons why admission point score is important for matric learners. That is our question. State 3 reasons why admission point score is important for matric learners. So we are to answer that question. So let us answer that question 1.1. Let us answer that question 1.1. So here we are on 1.1. That is 1.1. So we remember that we can write section 1. So section 1 is about admission point score. Admission, it's about admission points score. So that is that. We're talking about the APS. So, and higher education. So the first question, like we have said, it was about stating 3 reasons why admission point score is important for matric learners. So for us to answer that, we are going to see The first reason is that we are talking about determines. It determines university admission eligibility. Admission eligibility. So it determines university admission eligibility. So that simple says university use APS, which is admission point score, to decide if a learner qualifies for specific course. So they use APS. So that is that. Now let us go to, then another reason can be it helps learners choose suitable courses. Helps learners choose suitable courses. It helps learners choose suitable courses. So it means that learners can compare their APS with course requirements. So that is that. So another reason is that ensure fair selection process. Ensure a fair selection process. Ensure fair selection process. So that is that. So the APS admission point score provides a standardized way of comparing applicants. So that is that. So this is our 1.1. So now we are to move on to 1.2. So now let us attend to 1.2. So let us be on our 1.2. So here is our 1.2. As it says, identify 2 minimum entrance requirements for admission to university technology. So that is that. Then we are to answer that question. We are to answer that question. 1.2. So now we are on 1.2. 2 minimum entry requirements for admission to university technology. So the first one is that the first requirement, 2 minimum entrance requirement. The first entry requirement is that national senior certificate. National senior certificate. So national senior certificate. We are talking about the NSC with diploma or bachelor pass. With diploma or bachelor pass. Or bachelor's pass. With diploma or bachelor's pass. So that is that. So another minimum entry requirements is a required AP score and subject requirements. We are talking about required APS score and subject requirement and subject requirements and subject requirement. And subject requirements for the chosen course. For the chosen course, for example, mathematics for engineering. So that is that. So now let us go to another question. Let us attend to another question. So here we are on to 1.3. So 1.3 read as follows. Explain why most learners prefer university than TVET colleges. Why do learners prefer universities than TVET colleges. So that is that. So now let us attend to it. Now let us attend to it. So we are on 1.3. 1.3. Why most learners prefer university than TVET colleges? So it's because of higher status and recognition. It's because of higher status and recognition. Also, again, better career opportunities. Better career opportunities. So these are two reasons why most learners prefer university than TVET colleges. So higher status and recognition. So university degrees are often seen as most prestigious. So that is why they will want to go for university for that status. Also better a career opportunity. Some professions require university qualifications. So that is the reason why most learners prefer university than TVET colleges. Hope you are together on that. So now let us attend to 1.4. Let us attend to 1.4. So here we are on our 1.4, which reads as follows. 1.4. Describe why national benchmark tests are important. Describe why national benchmark tests are important. So now let's quickly answer that question. Let's quickly attend to it. So this is our 1.4. So we are on 1.4. Remember, the question says why national benchmark tests are important. So first reason is that they assess academic readiness. So we are saying assess academic readiness. Academic readiness. That is that because they test learner skills in math and language. They test learner skills in math and languages. That is why we're saying assess academic readiness. And another reason is that you assist universities in placements. Assist universities in placement. Assist universities in placement. So they help institutions decide on a support programs if needed. So that is that. So now let's quickly go to 1.5. Let's quickly go to 1.5. So 1.5 read as follows, as it says, analyze two financial assistance options that are available to students studying at TVET colleges. Analyze two financial assistance options that are available for students studying at the TVET colleges. So that is our question, and let us quickly attend to it. So let's quickly attend to question 1.5. Question 1.5. So that is that. 1.5. So as we remember very well that we are to analyze two financial assistance options available to students studying at TVET colleges. So that is that. So the first one is NSFAS. NSFAS. That is, you know very well that when we're talking about the NSFAS, we're talking about the National Students Financial Aid Scheme. we're talking about National Assistant Financial Aid Scheme. So we are saying it's national, stands for National Student Financial Aid Scheme. So that's what NSFAS means, financial aid, financial student, financial, National Student Financial Aid Scheme. Sorry for that. So fact is that that is a government funding for financially needy students. So that is that. You can say fact about it is that that is government funding for financially needy students. Needy students. So that is that. 1.5. So the explanation of this that we can say now, explanation is that it covers tuition. It covers tuition, books, and someone's accommodation. And someone's accommodation. We can say and accommodation. And accommodation. So now we want to know the outcome under this financial assistant. We can say the outcome of it is that enables disadvantaged students to access education. To access education. To access education. So that is that. So that is about what? A NSFAS. That is about NSFAS. Remember, the question was saying analyze two financial assistant. So another financial assistance is bursary from private companies. Is what? Bursaries from private companies. From private companies. So they are as well financial assistance. So companies fund students in scarce skills areas. So that this fact about this bursary is that companies fund students in scarce skills, in scarce skill areas. So that is that about the bursaries. So now the explanation of this is that it is often linked to future employment contracts. It is often linked to future employment contracts. Employment contract. So that is that. So now we want to know the outcome now. the outcome, it reduces financial burden and improves job prospects. We are saying the bursary reduces a financial burden. It reduces financial burden and improves job prospects. Job prospects. So that is that about that question where we were asked to analyze two financial assistance options available to students studying at the TVET college. So now we are to move on to 1.6. We are to move on to 1.6. So let us be on to 1.6. So 1.6. So 1.6 read as follows. Analyze two differences between bursaries and study loans. Difference between bursary and study loans. So that's what the question now wants. So we are to differentiate between bursary as well as study loans. So for us to differentiate that, we are going to differentiate those looking at the repayment as well as the conditions under that. So let us quickly see how we are going to make it easy or simple answer it. This is where we are, 1.6. 1.6. So now we are to write 1.6. Remember, the 1.6 was to analyze difference between bursaries and study loans. So we are first going to start by their repayment. We're going to start by their repayment. We're going to say repayment, and then we say bursaries. The bursary usually does not need repayment if conditions are met. Usually does not need repayment. Does not need repayment. Usually does not need repayment if conditions are met. If conditions are met. But now the loans, so loans must be repaid with interest. Must be repaid with interest. So these are the difference when it comes to repayment. So now coming to point 2, the conditions now. Conditions. So conditions with bursary. With bursary is that bursary often requires good academic performance. Often requires good academic performance. Good academic performance. So that's that. But with a loan, under conditions, is that approval now. Approval depends mainly on financial agreement. on financial agreement. So that is that. So that is the difference between bursary and loans. So we have differentiated the two by repayment as well as their conditions. So now let us go to 1.7 now. So let us go to 1.7. Let us go to 1.7. So 1.7, let us read 1.7. So 1.7 now says, discuss now two negative effects of failing to get learnerships. Discuss two negative effects of failing to get learnerships. So that is our 1.7. So let's quickly attend to 1.7, where we are asked to discuss two negative effects of failing to get the learnerships. So let's quickly attend to it. Let's quickly attend to it. We are on 1.7. So this is our 1.7, where we are to discuss two negative effects of failing to get learnerships. So the first one is unemployment. Unemployment. So learners miss practical work experience opportunities. We know very well that learners are going to miss a practical work experience. That is what we are saying. Learners miss practical work experience opportunities. Work experience opportunities. So that's that. So another reason being a lack of skills development. Lack of skills development. So with this one, we are saying it reduces chance of gaining workplace skills. Reduces chances of gaining workplace skills. Gaining workplace skills. Workplace skills. So that is that. So now let us go to 1.8. Let's attend to 1.8. So 1.8 read as follows. Evaluate the role of sector education and training authorities. Your evaluation should include fact, substation, and the intended outcome. So that is that. So now let us go and attend to it. 1.8. So now we're going to 1.8. We are on 1.8. So remember, 1.8 wants us to know to evaluate the role of sector education and training authorities, that is SETAs. So we were asked to answer it, basing ourselves on fact, substation, attendant, outcome. So we are first going to start by the fact about the SETAs, is that SETAs manage skill development in different economic sectors. So we are saying SETAs manage skills development in different economic sectors. In different economic sectors. In different economic sectors. So that's that. So when it comes to the substation, so we have to talk about substation. We have to talk about substation. It simply says they provide learnerships. They provide learnerships, accredit training providers, accredited training providers. They give accreditation to training providers and distribute skills levy funds. And distribute skills levy funds. And distribute skills levy funds. Skills levy funds. So that is that. When we talk of the role of sector education and training authorities, SETAs. So now we're asked to also talk about the intended outcome. The intended outcome. The intended outcome. So now we have to write the intended outcome. The intended outcome. The intended outcome. So our intended outcome is that they improve workforce skills. The SETAs improve workforce skills and reduce unemployment. And reduce unemployment. And reduce unemployment. So that is that. So now we are to attend to question 1.9. We are to attend to 1.9. We are to attend to 1.9. So 1.9. 1.9 read as follows. critically discuss two challenges that students encounter after failing to meet their obligations in terms of financial arrangements to pay student fees. For each answer, include your fact, elaborate it, and provide intended outcome. So that is what question 1.9 requires. So let us attend to it. Let us attend to question 1.9. So that is that. So 1.9. Let's quickly go to 1.9. Give answers to it. 1.9. So here we are on 1.9, where we were asked to critically discuss two challenges students faced after failing to meet financial obligations. So that's what the question wants. So we are first going to talk about the fact. As we were asked to first talk about the fact when we answer this question. So we know institutions may block registration or results. That's the fact. Institutions may block a registration or result. So that's the fact about it. So now we want elaboration on that. Elaboration. So is that students cannot continue studying. Students cannot continue to study. That's what it means. Students cannot continue studies. Cannot continue. They cannot continue with their studies. Not continue with their studies. So that is that. Now coming to the outcome now. The outcome is that delayed graduation or dropout. Delayed graduation or dropout. So these are all the answers for question or for session 1. For session 1. So these are all the answers for session 1. And we are to attend to session 2. So session 1 or activity 1, the questions were from 1.1 to 1.9. So that is that. So now we are to attend to activity 2. Activity 2. Now let's quickly move to session 2 or activity 2. So here we are on activity 2. So on activity 2, it reads as follows. Read the cartoon below and answer the following questions. You see here, we have a democracy is we, is a we, not a them. Democracy is a we, not a them. So now we can see that it's about the democracy. So now let us attend to question 2.1 quickly. As it says, state 3 ways in which citizens can participate responsibly in a democratic state. So we are saying it's 3 ways citizens can participate responsibly in a democratic state. So we are to give 3 reasons on that. So that is that. So that is 3, that is our activity 2, you can say section 2. Section 2, where we are talking about democracy. We're talking about democracy. So that is that. Now we are to attend to 2.1, where we are to give 3 ways citizens can participate responsibly in a democratic state. So the first one is voting in elections. Voting in elections. The second one is participating in a community meetings. Participating in a community meetings. So that is that, participating in a community meetings, and as well paying taxes and obeying laws. Paying taxes and obeying laws. And obeying laws. So that is that. Question 2.2, describe 3 democratic structures of this country. So now we are to describe a 3 democratic structure in South Africa. So this is 2.2, whereby we are going to talk about legislature. We are going to talk about legislature. That's when we talk of legislature, we're talking about a parliament, which makes laws. We are going to talk about executive. Executive. So when we're talking about executive, we're talking about the president and cabinet. They implement laws. Implements laws. Then we're going to talk about judiciary. That's when we're talking about courts. Talking about judiciary. So they do what? They interpret laws. They interpret laws. So that is that. So now let us attend to question 2.3. Let us be on 2.3. As it says, briefly explain 3 main features that could be included in a petition. In a petition. 3 main features of petition. So that is that. 3 main features of petition. So here we are to answer that question. That is a clear statement of the issue. Clear statement of the issue. Names and signature of supporters. Names and signatures of supporters. Also, proposed solution or request. Proposed solution or request. Or request. So that is answers for Three main features of a petition 2.3. So now we are to attend to question 2.4. 2.4, where we are asked about analyze two advantages of good governance in a democratic state. Analyze two advantages of good governance in a democratic state. So there we are going to talk about accountability. We are going to talk about accountability. So with accountability, we are saying government officials answer for their actions. That's what we mean. So accountability simply means that government officials answer for their actions. Answers for their actions. That is that. And we know also that it reduces what? Corruption. So that is that accountability. And the other one is efficient service delivery. Efficient service delivery. So with efficient service delivery, we know very well that we are talking about resources are properly managed. Are properly managed. So this improves citizens' quality of life. Efficient service delivery improves the citizens' quality of life again. So now let us go to 2.5. Let us attend to 2.5. 2.5 read as follows. Discuss how South Africa's lawmaking process can be fair and transparent. Discuss how South African lawmaking process can be fair and transparent. That is 2.5. That is 2.5. How South African lawmaking process can be fair and transparent. So that's when you're going to talk about public participation. Public participation. Well, we know very well when we're talking of public participation, we are saying citizens can comment on draft bills. Citizens can comment on draft bills. So that's when we're talking about public participation. Also, another one is parliamentary debates. Parliamentary debates and oversight. Parliamentary debates and oversight. So this prevents fraud and irregularities. This prevents fraud and irregularities. So that is that for 2.5. So let us come to 2.6. 2.6 reads as follows. Assess two roles of party agents or delegates in an election process. So that is our 2.6. So 2.6, we are to assess two roles party agents or delegates in an election process. So we have a monitor voting station, monitor voting station, and we know that monitor voting station ensure voting is free and fair. And we also have observe voting counting. Observe voting counting, where we know very well that this prevent fraud and irregularities. So that is that. So now let us go to 2.7. 2.7 read as follows. Recommend one practical strategy that the government could implement to ensure that no one is above the law in this country. Your recommendation should be include your fact substantiation as well as the intended outcome. So let us attend to 2.7. 2.7. So where we are to recommend one practical strategy to ensure no one is above the law. So fact now, a fact is about strengthening independent anti-corruption bodies. That is about strengthen independent anti-corruption bodies. Anti-corruption bodies. So now we are to be on substantiation. Substantiation. So with substantiation, this is to ensure they investigate, they investigate and prosecute corruption. And prosecute corruption. Prosecute corruption without political interference. Without political interference. Without political interference. So that's that. So now we come to the intended outcome. Intended outcome. So with intended outcome is that promote equality before law. Promote equality before the law. And reduce corruption. And reduce corruption. So that is that. Now let us be on 2.8. Let us be on 2.8. So here we are on 2.8. Critically discuss two roles of independent electoral commission in a democratic state. For each answer, include your fact, elaborate it, and provide its intended outcome. That is 2.8. That is 2.8. So 2.8, as you know, it says critically discuss two roles of the Independent Electoral Commission, IEC. So the first one, it organizes and manages elections. Organizes and manages elections. So fact is that they oversee voter registration. They oversees voter registration and voting process. And voting process. So that is that. Elaboration is that it ensures transparency and accuracy. Ensures transparency and accuracy. And accuracy. So the outcome now, the outcome so sorry, there is a mistake here on elaboration. The elaboration there was supposed to be ensures election ensures elections follow legal procedures. Follow legal procedures. So that is that. Ensures elections follow legal procedures. That they follow legal procedures. Then the outcome is that free and fair elections. Free and fair elections. So that is that. So we have said that under organizes and manages elections. So they also again announces and verifies results. It also announces and verifies results. And verifies results. So that is that. Announces and verifies results. Whereby now we are going to talk about fact under announces and verifies results. It's about that IEC counts and publishes election results. Election results. So under elaboration is that ensures transparency and accuracy. And accuracy. So the outcome that now under announces and verified results is that public trust in democracy. In democracy. So this is the end of activity 2. This is the end of activity 2. We are to attend to activity 3. We are to attend to activity 3. So this is that. So now we are to attend to activity 3. So here we are on our activity 3 now. As we are to attend to our activity 3. So here is our activity 3. As it says, read the cartoon below and answer the following questions. So as we have said that on activity 3, it's all about democracy. So now let us be on question 1, no, question 3.1. as it says, define the term democracy and state one reason why most countries prefer democratic states. That is 3.1. So we are to answer that question 3.1, activity 3, where we can say this is our session. This is our session 3. So 3.1 is about defining what democracy. So as we know, democracy means that democracy, means it's a power with people and free election and civil rights. When you talk of democracy, we're talking about power. We're talking about power with people, free election and civil rights. So that is that. We are talking about power with people, free elections, and civil rights. So that's democracy. So why prefer it? As the question says, state one reason why most countries prefer democracy. Why is it preferred? So here we are talking about the reason why it is preferred. So it is preferred because of what we are saying. Why preferred? So it is preferred because of legitimacy. Legitimacy and stability. And stability, better social economy, better social or economic outcomes. So that is that. So now we have to move on to 3.2. So here we are on our 3.2, which reads as follows. Describe two main roles of political parties in a democratic state. Describe two main roles of political parties in a democratic state. So here we are talking about 3.2, where we are talking about the roles. We are talking about the roles of political parties. Roles of political parties. Roles of political parties. So that is that. So the first one is to represent, represent interest, represent interest, recruit and field candidate. Also mobilize and educate for voters. Mobilize and educate voters. And educate voters. So that is that. So now let us go to 3.3. 3.3 say briefly outline two main duties of traditional authorities. That is 3.3. So duties of traditional authorities. Duties of traditional authorities. Duties of traditional authorities. authorities. Duties of traditional authorities. Traditional authorities. So that is that. So their first duty is that they apply customary law and settle disputes. Apply customary law and settle disputes. And settle disputes. And settle disputes. And the other one, they manage communal land. They manage communal land. Manage a communal land and resources. So they also promote community welfare. They also promote community welfare. So, and link with government. And link with a government. So that is that. So now let us attend to question 3.4. Let us be on 3.4, which read as follows. Analyze the importance of interest groups in South African politics. That is 3.4. Importance of interest group. Importance of interest group. So that is that. Importance of interest groups. Interest groups in SA. Importance of interest group in South Africa. So they provide expertise. They provide expertise, lobby for sector needs, lobby for sector needs, hold government accountable, hold government accountable. So that is that. So now we are to attend to 3.5. So 3.5 says, assess two main reasons why most representative council of learners fail to protect learners' rights in school. Two main reasons why most representative council of learners fail to protect learners at school. That FBO. So why RCL fail? So here we are saying why RCLs fail. We are talking about the representative council of learners. Why do they fail? So limited authority. They fail because of limited authority. Their authority is being limited. So that is why they sometimes fail now to protect learners. So they have very little authority. So they don't have much a say there at schools. Lack of training and resources. 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 So that is that. Also poor representation. Poor representation, and or engagement. So now let us go to 3.6. Let us go to 3.6. 3.6 read as follows. Discuss two roles that could be played by faith-based organization, FBO, in fighting poverty and unemployment in your community. In your community. That is that. So now let us attend to 3.6. So as we are to tell the FBO roles in poverty as well as unemployment, faith-based organization. So their role is to deliver food, shelter, basic aid, also is to offer skills training, and micro enterprise support. And micro enterprise support. So that is that. Also, they advocate for social policies and mobilize community. And mobilize community. So that is that, 3.6. So now let's quickly go to 3.7. As it reads as follows. Critically discuss one impact of sport in addressing nation building. Your discussion should include the effect, substitution, as well as intended outcome. So let's quickly go to 3.7. 3.7, whereby we are talking about sport and nation building. Sport and nation building. So we have to talk about fact, substantiation, as well as outcome. So now we can talk about social cohesion. We can talk about social cohesion. As you know, events unite diverse groups. We know that events unite diverse group. So you can talk of 1995 Rugby World Cup. So that is what you say. So that they share national pride. That is our outcome. They shared national pride. So that is that. Whereby you remember we asked to tell about the fact. So the fact is that the social cohesion. So that is that. But when it comes to substitution, that is where we can make an example of the 1985 rugby, and then the outcome is that shared national pride. So now let us just move on. We can also talk about, besides social cohesion, we can talk of economic boost. economic boost. We know stadium builds, the stadium builds, and tourism create jobs. And tourism creates jobs. So stronger local economics and pride. That is our outcome. Stronger the stronger local economies and pride. So that is that. So now we have to go to 3.8. 3.8. As it reads as follows. Recommend 2 practical measures that sporting bodies could implement to prevent unruly sporting behaviors and among supporters. Your discussion should include effect, qualifier, and intended outcome. Here we are on 3.8. So let's quickly answer it. So here we are. I'm going to say 3.8. So we are to measure to curb unruly behavior. So effect, qualifier, and outcome. So we can talk about gate scanning. We can talk about gate scanning as well as metal detectors at an entry. So we can talk of metal detectors at entry. And consistently applied. Consistently applied, and fewer weapons are the result. The outcome, fewer weapons are the outcomes. So that is that. Then go to another point whereby we can talk about ground monitoring. Ground monitoring. Ground monitoring. So the ground monitoring, we are going to have trained staff. Trained staff watch sections. De-escalate early. De-escalate early and stop small fights. Stops small fights as our outcome. So this is the end of the presentation, and please grade level make use of this presentation on live orientation to prepare for your test on term 1. So thank you very much. Please share with others, and please don't forget to hit the subscription button. Thank you.